Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have never seen a DNN Hot Take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement. We like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is Resident Evil Requiem. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and here to discuss with me, as always... we'll just go triple threat, Chris Trio.
You could have said maybe the triple T virus. I don't know. It's not really easy, but Gooch.
Like triple X?
Yeah, triple X, something like that. But yeah, Gooch, I'm ready to talk about some evil residents, if you are.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
I am ecstatic. May be one of my favorite games of this year. This is the first new game I played this year. There really hasn't been a lot out until here. So obviously, by de facto, it is my game of the year because it's the only new game I played this year.
That's not true.
Well, Marathon, but it came out a week later.
That's true. And it really, I guess it is only Resident Evil. You're right. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've played anything else new since the year has began, but I'm with you, Gooch.
I mean,
excited.
It's felt good, honestly. I've been catching up on a lot of stuff. But anyway, let's get into the review. And I want to start a new tradition. Let's see what happens. Trio skeptical, but we do it for the rewind review. I have a physical copy of the game here. I want to read the description on the back of the box and maybe give it a laugh, and we'll see where it goes. Requiem for the dead, nightmare for the living. Prepare to escape in a heart-stopping experience that will chill you to your core. Now, how general is that?
That's general.
That's like...
that's still better than 90% of IMDb things that we read,
general.
I think. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Well, I'm surprised. And it's funny because you said that. I'm surprised there's like writing on the back and stuff still, like a description of any kind.
Yeah, there's usually like some art and things.
Because there's just nothing inside the boxes anymore. And I assume there's not a reversible cover on that one or anything, right?
There is art on it. It's the RPD.
Oh, no, yeah, you could
What
reverse
is
that.
interesting is I think the box art is a really interesting choice. It's not Grace and Leon like that wallpaper is I have.
Right.
But it's the RPD. It's just the building.
Right.
Which does, in fact, spoil the fact that you do return to Raccoon City, but it's in the trailers, too.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that's like this. I guess that's the setting.
I
Saying the
was
setting of a
seeing
place.
somebody be like, oh, spoilers. I'm like, dude, it's the front of the box.
Someone will be like, the length of a game is a spoiler. I'm like, we gotta relax here. Yeah. Can you fire your leg a little? I think
Yeah.
a little
So let's jump into it, Trio. What did you think of the 9th mainline entry in the Resident Evil franchise?
I gotta say, Gooch, I had a really, really fantastic time with it. We heard about it before it was coming out. We knew it was going to be this kind of dual style, kind of commingling here with Leon's kind of more action-oriented gameplay, and you got Grace being more stealthy, kind of survival horror. The last time they did something even close to that was Resident Evil 6, which people did not really love. And even it's funny going back to Resident Evil 2, how you have two protagonists in that, which you play in different, playthroughs and stuff like that.
Two protagonists in most Resident Evil games.
I would say the way that they interweave them, though, is probably the most different here, right?
Yes.
Because you play two separate campaigns usually is kind of the idea. At least in Resident Evil 2.
It's not even two separate campaigns or like in Resident Evil 0, like you're playing as Rebecca and Billy and they're together.
Right.
So you're like swapping between the two to do puzzles, but it's usually not like really two separate things.
Sure.
This is the first time where it's really like, okay, like Grace plays one way and Leon plays another, and the camera perspectives are different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like hybridation of what Resident Evil has done across the franchise as a whole in Resident Evil Requiem.
And even as I was watching it, and I don't mean this in a bad way, like this feels like a greatest hits almost of Resident Evil in certain ways, especially of the recent Resident Evil, when you have, the remakes with Leon 2, 4, that third person really action heavy gameplay, but then you have 7, 8's a bit more action oriented, but there's still some survival horror in there.
The first person,
the
slower.
first person, yeah.
It's
awesome.
I would say Resident Evil 9 is a sequel to the remakes and the mainline stuff. It's like you just said, it's a sequel to RE4. This really feels like in tune with what's going on with Leon's story and his progression. I mean, there's things that happen with him between this, whether it's in the games, RE6 mostly, and in some of the movies. But, this is the next big mainline game. For Leon, that's really Leon focused. RE6 is like all over the place in terms of story.
How many people do you play as in that?
Like 4.
That's what I thought. Like 4
plus their partners,
right?
So it's like I'm not even gonna name them all, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
So like
RE6 is like let's get everyone together kind of thing, and it ends up really falling short. But yeah, so it's a sequel to the remakes, it's a sequel to 7 and 8 in terms of grace. It's learning from all the best of what has come and what has gone.
Right.
You know, like I think it looks at a Village and it goes, yeah, there's something here to garner, but 8 wasn't it, at least for me.
Yeah, because this feels a lot like there's a lot of 8 in this to me,
But like also
also
not.
4, and also 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think 8 is as different from 7 as I feel like
I think
you
the
seem to feel it is.
tonality is.
Yeah.
Like the monsters, what's going on, where you are, this being in like a facility,
Yeah.
like a mansion looking care center, like
and lots of different locations even too. We go to a few.
Yeah. Like the gray section in the Rhodes Care Center really feels like RE1.
Yeah.
And going through the Trevor mansion, and you know, you're going through the one wing and you find a key and you got to go back. Okay, now you have the key card to go to the other side. Village wasn't like that in a sense. And also you're fighting werewolves and big vampire ladies. Like in terms of like the enemy set, it just didn't, it really like felt like something else.
8 just feels like kind of a re-implementation of 4 in a lot of ways to me, like especially when it comes to how action oriented it is and how
like
much is going
Middle
on.
Eastern.
Yeah, and you know the village thing, obviously.
Vibe, yeah.
So I don't know. I definitely I played 7 again before playing this, and I had a fantastic time. That's a short game. That's only like 7 hours. I didn't realize. I even ended up liking the boat portion, which I didn't end up liking as much the first time.
For 7, that boat portion,
it's a little rough, but
sucks.
I found actually a little bit more enjoyment out of it this time going back through. 7's definitely much more of a straight up horror survival game, and you see that side implemented with Grace in this. I do think she's even a bit more actiony than that to a degree.
Yes,
and you know you want to focus on your stealth with her. The idea is to avoid a lot of fights if you can when you're sneaking around, especially I feel like in that first hospital area. But overall, I just to speak to Grace's character a bit, I think she was a very interesting and compelling inclusion for me. I like how she's an FBI investigator. I think the setup's very interesting, and we start in this very heavily populated area, which for me, as many Resident Evil games as I've played, you don't really see that very often.
No, you don't.
And it kind of kicks off, and dude, the game is fucking gorgeous. Like I cannot speak to the RE engine enough.
Both played on PS5, obviously.
I was on the Pro.
You're on the Pro though, yeah.
And we talk about the darks and the blacks within the environment, like how deep they can get, and how like, oh, I can't see anything in front of me in some of these places when I don't have my flashlight on. And dude, one of my biggest annoyances with Resident Evil in the past like 2 or 3 games, Gooch, they couldn't you couldn't turn off the flashlight at will. It was only in certain sections where you'd automatically, turn it on, take it out. And they did that this time. You can actually control when you're using the flashlight. But yeah, I think Grace was an excellent inclusion. I'm curious to see like what you thought of her, to be honest.
Yeah, I really liked Grace. They're kind of playing off the trope that she's the daughter of a character from Resident Evil Outbreak, which is a spin-off game of like some characters in Raccoon City. Like, hey, let's explore other perspectives of Raccoon City. That was kind of the idea with Outbreak. And you're playing as like different characters, and Alyssa Ashcroft is one of them. She's a reporter. So they're playing off that, right? That first trailer, when you see Grace's last name, it was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And it ends up kind of being a bit of a twist. I kind of like what they do with Grace.
I do too.
And they're kind of like misleading you as you play the game to be like, oh, Grace is this key to Elpis. Like
this new bioweapon that's going to destroy something or other.
Yeah, and you see Alyssa has like information. So like, and Victor Gideon, like you're connected through you being the daughter of an RC survivor, Raccoon City survivor. And I like how they finally sort of member berries themselves, and they go back to like, yeah, remember Raccoon City? Because Resident Evil in its 30 years of existence has never really called back on itself quite like 9 does. And I think it's really well deserving as a whole. Like they never talk about, oh, what happened to those people X years later that were in Raccoon City, exposed to the T virus, and now you're seeing it with Sherry, with Leon, and with some of these other, Gideon being one of them. Like, the T virus is mutating and changing, and it's killing them. And
slowly too, almost, right? Like it's it's very. I do like that setup of Leon being sick, and then even his teammate being sick. Alyssa is his like girl in the chair, right?
Sherry Birkin,
which you don't get a lot out of her, but I like their dynamic a lot.
Yeah, you don't really get a lot out of her, which is kind of a shame. But.
Yeah. But I do kind of like Grace's growth like throughout the game, and where she even ends up by the end, and her connection with Leon. And dude, Leon is he's just fucking chewing the scenery.
It's funny because he's like a Marvel character.
He's like
it's like all he does.
Well, I think in this he especially leans into the quips.
He's so fucking cool.
Yeah,
that
he
it's
is.
like kind of like.
See,
forgivable.
I was gonna say I wouldn't say like it's not. It almost reminds me of like 80s B action movie, not Marvel.
Everything,
like
it's serious.
Yes, but it's also like
funny.
It's tongue in cheek and like he does probably 3 too many one-liners, but I loved every single one of them.
Yeah, but it works.
Yeah, it does.
I think it's because we like if this was a new character, it wouldn't.
No,
like Leon is probably like one of the most well-liked Resident Evil characters, and I feel like there's a lot of rule of cool in this game with
100%.
With Zeno, and his jacket that he never puts on
his shoulders.
White suit, white hair, obviously.
Always smoking a cigarette.
I was always
something.
like, okay, this guy's Wesker.
That's what I thought too. Yeah,
but he's a clone of Wesker. But as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh fuck, Wesker's back. I'm like, we killed him in RE5, and he's fucking back for some reason. Okay, whatever.
Zeno, right, is his name?
Zeno.
Yeah.
I loved RE9. I think it's the best game in the series. It's the best game for me personally.
Wow, okay.
It exceeded all expectations I had for it, which were not low, but were not necessarily high either. I like RE7 a lot, but like in terms of story, like it's very off in its own corner. Oh yeah, Chris Redfield.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
RE Village is sort of a continuation of that. Oh, Chris Redfield. See ya.
They're establishing that like there seems to be this anti-umbrella force that is trying to combat all of these bioweapons and outbreaks that are going on. Which is Chris Redfield.
The BSAA has been around for a time now, and then there's the DSO, which is whose Leon is a part of, and then the connections. I do like how I was talking about RE9 being a sequel to remake and 7 and 8, but like not just in terms of the gameplay, but like the story is really being brought together for the first time in a very whole way. The connections inclusion really felt like, oh, okay,
right.
like
because that's who's funding like them at Lucas at 7 right, and stuff like that. You see their name pop up here and there a bunch.
The connections is the people who make Evelyn and who is behind Miranda as well. Like the 7 and 8 is the first time Connections is mentioned.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And it's all tied in with what they're doing, and then you find out the Connections is sort of so deep within the government, and they're the one who launched the nuke or the missile at Raccoon City, not to destroy the city, but to like get people off of Ark.
Right.
And like I'm not surprised there's more facilities under Raccoon City.
I saw a great tweet. It's like, I got a better idea. What about an even more deep, even more secret facility that's below the other one? I'm like, no, that's dude. Yeah. And by the way, the design of that facility when you get there is fucking sick. All of the environmental designs in this really kind of shine for me. That hospital at the beginning looks fantastic. And again, the PSSR, the ray tracing on it, Gooch, the reflections, everything, it is fucking gorgeous, and I can't give him enough credit when it comes to this engine. The gameplay, I think, is top tier. And we were talking about Leon, like, why can he get away with all this stuff? I do think he has been, and I think this is for the better, memed to a place a bit. When it comes to just his fighting style and like his kicks and his hilarious, everything about him. I think that works, and I think they leaned into it in this, and I think they recognize that, and it works for me a lot.
The game takes him incredibly seriously.
I know it does, but then like there's the tongue in cheek when he does those one-liners, and then even when he's doing these insane action stunts, like it feels so earnest and real. I love it. I really do.
And I think when Leon returns to the RPD and returns to Raccoon City, you're like, oh shit, like this is a big story moment for him. Obviously, like. It's like 28 years and 10 days later that he's like coming back.
28 years later. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Coming back to Raccoon City and, getting to the police department and sort of reliving, remember Marvin, remember the welcome Leon sign. But it feels, and he has these moments of reflection where, like with Kendo's gun shop, and he's like, I couldn't save them. And he, like, it seems like he, for the first time in the series, it seems like he really, I mean, like, I get him being upset over the whole situation, but he seems to kind of almost blame himself.
I don't even think it's
for it, or like that he couldn't do enough.
Right. He regrets not being able to do more or save even more people.
Right. But like,
I think that just comes down to I don't know. I think
there's nothing he could have done.
That's classic survivor's guilt, right? It's like I think there are those moments where he's like, no, I think I could have actually saved them here, and I fucked up. But that's obviously not what happened.
Right.
He's being hard,
especially in the situation with like Kendo and his daughter.
Right. Like there's nothing you could really have done there.
Right.
It is fun to go back into RCPD. I did expect us to spend a bit more time there, if I'm honest.
I'm kind of okay.
I am. Listen, I'm okay with it.
It's fucking destroyed.
Yeah,
you know, like, and so is most of the city.
And then I do feel like we kind of big spoilers in this review. By the way, we're a little far in, but like even the kind of Mr. X fight, like I was kind of surprised that kind of unfolded and just kind of ended so quickly.
I will give you my one negative of the game. I think the boss fights are too easy.
I will agree.
I enjoyed every boss fight, actually. But
I did too.
I plowed through them like I
And
knew
you were
what
on
I
the
was
classic
doing.
difficulty?
I was on the classic. Standard is too easy.
And honestly, I realized that after playing it. I play standard modern, then there's standard classic. I kind of hate the
classic wasn't that much harder. You get a lot of ink ribbons.
Yeah,
Like it really doesn't. The gray stuff is more difficult because like I died and I'm like, oh fuck,
you're far back.
Do this.
Yeah.
And it happened like once in the Umbrella Arc facility section where I was like, oh shit, I forgot to save.
I have to go kind of far back, right?
Yeah. It's like fuck, and like, but like. I always had enough ink ribbons. They were always giving me enough canisters to craft them. That wasn't that hard. I don't know if you've tried Insanity. I beat the game twice now. I did standard classic now, and then I did casual speed run, no healing, no blood collector, and now I'm doing Insanity. Insanity is no fucking joke.
I'm not surprised.
The first section where you fight, where Leon gets into the care center and
they're fucking you up.
The chainsaw, like in that small room. Took me like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And like I'm obviously it's a start.
Are you using like unlimited ammo things or anything like that?
I haven't
because I'm gonna unlock control. Yeah,
I haven't decided if I want.
That's what I'm probably gonna use that type of stuff on that
just to see like it's I want to see like what I can do because apparently the mode is kind of created to use it.
Right,
on infinite ammo, like that's what I've heard, and it is really hard. It seems like there should be a difficulty in between standard.
So that was going to be my next
Insanity.
thing. I just kind of wish they did regular, like easy, normal, medium, whatever. Like, can we? We don't need the standard classic,
commit to
standard
the ink
modern.
ribbons or don't.
Right, just say, all right, you're on hard.
Agree.
Well, or even and they did just label it better, in my opinion. I was going to say something about the fighting and with Leon there, but I totally lost it. Yeah, I just think the gameplay specifically is the highlight here for me, and there's a weight behind everything. It's funny, I went back to RE2 after this just for shits and giggles, and I played like the first hour, and it feels great. It looks fantastic still. I mean, for a 2019 game especially, but like there is when you shoot something, it just doesn't feel the same. There isn't that weightiness to how your gun feels back, and even like the haptics on the controller, I feel like do make a big difference when you're walking through rain. You feel it and stuff like that. Do you hold on a long cutscene? Do you hold your controller the whole time?
Yeah,
because I find myself usually I put it.
I know
on
it vibrates sometimes.
Yeah, so I'm like it's.
I was like,
those
I know
are interesting to me.
what you're saying.
Yeah, so I was just curious because I don't know if I take full advantage.
Sometimes I'll like I don't know put it down and like not realize it sort of thing. No, it's not like a conscious.
Of course,
you know.
And it's usually
I'm
like
gonna watch.
Right. But yeah, I think those things specifically kind of stand out to be the most in this.
So I really liked the long intro.
Same
on replays. It's not great because like now that I'm on my third playthrough of the game, I'm kind of like, all right, let's go. But like on a first playthrough, like going through Renwood, the hotel, really slow, really like getting you into the atmosphere, kind of returning to the RE7 form. Then we switch back to the streets of Renwood. We're with Leon. It's like RE2, RE4, and he's kitted out. We're starting with the pistol, and he has the Requiem, the titular gun of the game, which I found really fucking cool,
funny,
and I like how he passes that off to Grace.
Same.
But I like how Leon's repertoire of weapons is so broad, and Grace's is so limited. But she does have a gun, and it is useful, unlike 7, where it's like your guns were kind of like you really should be using them when you need it. And I feel like that is the case with Grace when you're in the beginning figuring out like stealth, going past guys. Like you can't just unload your entire clip into people. And I feel like the the care center is much scarier and much more deadly.
I
than
agree.
Anything in RE7.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually see
Like the molded did not feel like.
I think the
much
environment
of, a
of
contender
7.
to me.
Yeah, I guess playing it recently, they were more interesting than I remembered. But I think just the environment and overall vibes of 7 are much scarier than anything in this. Like, especially when you come down to like that just creepy old dilapidated like farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere, and you got this family of terrible, awful. I don't know. That's a little bit more scary to me. But I was, I got some jump scares in this. I thought there were some good moments where like I just was taken. I was like, oh fuck.
You know what's funny? I didn't get scared, but I felt that the game was scarier.
Yeah.
Like I like the girl popping out in the moments, and even Gideon is like pretty creepy. I kind of liked him as a villain in a way. Like I don't know if you checked out his model in the model viewer, but like he's got like snake skin clothes. He looks like a snake.
I mean, and he looks very much. I mean, I saw someone post this, and I think it's a very much obvious inspiration. But I mean, he's Buffalo Bill, and then she's Sherry, or she's Clarice, and it works well like that kind of inspiration. Like it you can see it throughout all these games, and when you go back and look at that kind of clear inspiration, it's cool. And yeah, it's funny. I don't know if I'd call this game. Like, it is scary, and I think for someone who's not as big of a horror person, maybe it'll scare you much more, but it does feel much more action-y than even a 7 going back, even when you're playing as Grace.
Yeah.
But just to speak on the zombies themselves really quick, I love all the personality to them. I love how each one has their own kind of individual thing. There's a singer, and the light-switching one.
They brought a lot of lore into it. So the lore is like the T virus has mutated to a point where it's keeping... The virus isn't like totally overriding the person's personality, and they're keeping a bit of their humanity. So that's what's going on. And then we have like, I feel like you're saying, there's a lot of zombies with the personalities. The singing ones. We have the chef, Chunk. Like there's a lot of like weird, like kind of almost goofy kind of zombies. The zombies with the IV bag.
Right. Who are blind thing. If you can kill other zombies with them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then you have the an evolution of the oh my god.
The clicker or the liquor?
They're called the blister heads in this game. God, Crimson Heads.
Yeah.
Crimson Heads from the first game. They're back here and they're called Blister Heads. And like they're really deadly. And it makes you think, it's like, okay, do you want to use your little needle thing on one of these dead corpses in that room with like the lungs and the heart puzzle?
Right.
The Blister Head came back there, and I know on Insanity I'm definitely gonna clear the corpses because I have to be there to do something for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I should make my life easier. Give him an injection, watch him blow up.
Right. Even the moments when the guy, like when that first police officer changes, like how his skin kind of turns, and then his the way their eyes like split off from each other and start going in different directions, it's very good. Yeah. It's very creepy, and I think, I like the design especially. That character gives it something different from these other games. And even like, the big kind of stalker enemies, like you're saying with Chunk and the chef. The chef I didn't kill until like when I was with Leon, I think, when I was playing as him and the sniper, and I took him out. If you take out Chunk,
he's always there.
I was gonna say he always comes back. I would assume.
Yeah. I was like, oh look, it's another chef.
Because I need to get a trophy. I need to get the trophy to kill him in the kitchen. And there's another one, and I need to get the one to kill Chunk as Grace, but.
Yeah, I did them both because I was like, oh, like I guess now I have his injector. Can I kill the chef? And I did. And then same with Chunk. And I'm like,
I didn't realize you could do that with an injector with the big ones.
Yes. So for Chunk, I think you need 3.
Makes sense.
So then she goes, like Grace goes like, oh, like I guess I need to do it again.
Yeah.
And you need to do it 3 times. And
okay.
Whole
That's good to know. And then only 1 for the chef.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know you could kill Chunk until I was like close enough and I saw the prompt. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't want to like leave and like without killing him because I wanted to get like, I like how they bring back the antique coins with in the parlor and doing that and getting those rewards. It makes exploration feel really good. I found all like the raccoons in the care center. I think I found like everything in the care center. I was really thorough going through there, and I loved like the police department in RE2 and the Trevor Mansion in RE1 and the Baker house in 7, but the care center felt like just Maybe it was because it was new.
It was
And,
new,
like,
but
I was just like, I love exploring and going through this place. And like, you learn it like the back of your hand, like the RPD.
Right, yeah.
In 2. You just really get to know the atmosphere you're in.
So I think if there's one critique I would like to see taken into account for next game, for 10, I think I'd like to see a more singular location. Because I do think when you get this kind of traveling across multiple places, critique. I think you don't get to settle in as much and learn it like I think the reason that Care Center works so well is because of the reasons you just described, and it feels so, not old timey, but it feels so reminiscent of what came before.
Sure.
And I think that's where it kind of shines, and but it feels updated where it needs to be. Of course,
I think your critique is a good one.
Like even if it was fully in a facility,
and I always go, fuck, we're leaving here.
Well, and even like 2, like I will give those ones. Like it feels like 7. We're in that house for 80% of it.
Yeah, but going to the boat is like
it sucks. But even that feels
leaving,
right? Even that feels severely different from this, where it's like we're probably in the Care Center for 30% of the game, 40% of the game, then another 20-30 in another spot, another 20-30, maybe 10% at the RPD. But I do think for this game specifically, it maybe works better though, because we are trying to explore Raccoon City and like we're getting that. I love
the way
tour.
that you inconsistently switch back between the two characters, because I'm like, oh, okay, there's a pretty, you jump back and forth between Grace and Leon like quickly in the first bit, but then you're Grace for a while,
yeah,
and then you're Leon again, and
you're great,
and you stay as Leon for a long time.
Well, no,
and
so actually, I feel like
I'm really excited to be
Leon,
Grace again,
or
true. Leon again,
yeah.
Like,
I think it was pretty well paced in that regard.
Yeah,
and
it kept me on my toes. It wasn't evenly spread out.
There was one point where I remember I texted the Discord and I was like, am I going to play as Leon again? I feel like I've been playing as Grace for a while. Yeah. And you guys were like, just wait. I'm like, and even for a while still after, I was like, when is it going to? And then it did.
And being in the RPD and going down into ARC, I like those sections. I didn't necessarily miss the Care Center.
No, that's true.
Because that was the problem I've had with most other RE games, even like Resident Evil 1. When you leave the Trevor Mansion, you go to an underground facility. It's kind of like, I like the mansion better. Right. You're always kind of like, like it took me away from the cool spot. Mm-hmm. But I felt like the RPD was like a different change of pace. I like how like the zombies are different, and you kind of find out like, I guess some of them are like remnants of zombies that were there, but some of them are new, and then you're fighting the BSAA.
Right.
Infected, but then you're also fighting the elite agents. I actually liked fighting.
That was interesting.
The enemies, like I felt like it was a nice change of pace. And
you're fighting other shooting enemies. That was right. And even you have some of those zombies that do shoot. Yeah, that are
retaining their humanity, knowing how to use a gun.
Right. Right. Again, I think the variety of zombies in this, it's well done without not being just not zombie. Like 8, I actually like how there's like werewolves and zombies and weird like pixies and
I like the enemy variety. Yeah. I don't like the archetypical choice of the enemy.
Sure. I guess I appreciate that, but I think in this it works that they are all just different variations of zombies. Like when you're in Raccoon City and you have those kind of dusty guys getting up out of the actual dirt, and then you have the guys in the actual facility who look more like surgical almost in a way, like
experiments created in a lab.
It's really interesting. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw we talked about this. I saw Colin specifically, but I did see other tweets about this talking about how like this feels very Last of Us inspired, and I'm like,
I don't see that.
What the fuck are you guys talking about?
I don't see that at all.
This feels maybe Resident Evil 4 and 2 inspired, but like those are very.
This feels wholly Resident Evil.
Yeah, I don't feel any kind of like.
I mean,
it feels more fine-tuned in certain ways, and there's definitely, you can throw some things and things like that, but I don't know. I actually think you can be even more stealthy in A Last of Us than compared to this.
Yeah, we have a comment in our YouTube chat, so, we usually record our reviews live, so be sure to follow on Twitch or YouTube if you're not already to watch us live. They say, like, the influence of PT on RE7. That returns, obviously, with Grace's section, but, like, you can tell we've evolved a little bit from just PT.
No.
Which RE7 was a reaction to PT.
And truthfully, there's another,
like you can fight in this, even though toward the end of the Care Center, you're pretty caked up on shit.
I think you can fight more in 7 than you're remembering. You can fuck up those molded, and I wasn't really having a lot of issue like killing them with my weapon and stuff like that.
I just played 7, and maybe it was just how I chose.
Maybe
to go
were you playing on the harder?
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably I played on normal, so that probably helped too. I just didn't. I think you don't feel nearly as helpless in these games, even in 7, as you do.
This is my third RE game this year.
Good stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
I played 7, 8, and 9 all this year.
This doesn't feel nearly as like
in the span of the year.
In the vein as like, you know, a regular survival horror where you truly just have to run and hide, like a Soma, like an Amnesia. But I think that's fine. I think it works very well for this, and I think, you know, survival horror is obviously a genre that does well, and I'm happy to fucking see that Capcom has come away from the era of Crapcom, as we've said, and really kind of leaned into some incredibly quality games that come out every like 16 months now. Like, we're gonna get RE5 remake probably soon. They're working in.
I don't think we're gonna get RE5 remake. I think it's gonna be Code Veronica, and they're gonna tie it into.
No,
something.
I know. I think like 7's confirmed. Like, they're working on it. Like, their 5 is confirmed. That's gonna happen.
They're working on a remake. I don't think it's 5.
No, they've like 7, like 5 is. They're working on 5. 5 is going to come eventually.
Where did you see that?
They were talking about it on Sacred Symbols. They've been talking about a bunch of leaks on Twitter. Like, it's.
I don't think so.
I'll bet you another meal that maybe it's gonna happen.
So a third meal?
Yeah, third meal. No, they're gonna. Dude, they have to. They're not. They're gonna change it. They're going to, but they're going to remake it. They can't just leave that off.
I think they can. They never remade 1, and they shouldn't.
They're doing it right now. That's another. Have you not been seeing any of this news? Like, that's
No.
another kind of. They're working on 1 right now. Veronica's supposed to come out next, then 1, then 5.
So they're doing them all.
They're doing them all. Yeah.
Interesting.
Those I've seen from, you know, could be wrong, but those are pretty reliable sources, and they've been talking about a lot on Sacred Symbols. So
I know they're gonna do more remakes. I just don't believe that they're going to do 5.
Gotcha.
And like, there definitely should not remake 6.
Well, 6, I don't
like
think
we're
there's-
getting then we're getting into territory where it's kind of like, all right, 6 was like unanimously panned.
I was going to say,
and a lot of people didn't like 5.
I was going to say
either.
that's also a very,
5 is one of my favorites. I really loved 5, but like that is not what. That is even an evolution from 4, where like that's a co-op based action game.
Yeah.
It's much different from what we've got. So we'll see, and maybe they can change up the genre. They don't necessarily have to adhere to exactly what the original RE5
well, and also I was going to say
remake
they could adjust
but
as needed.
Code Veronica needs a remake. I would.
That's supposedly the next one they're releasing.
So if you play that game, it's on PS4. It's like the only one that's actually still in tank controls.
Oh, really?
And it like I was like, oh, this is tank controls, and I'm like, okay. It takes a little getting used to for sure.
So
and it's just goofy as fuck. It's so weird. It's so strange.
and this is which one again? I'm sorry.
Code Veronica.
Code Veronica,
So you
yeah.
play as not Jill, Claire, Chris, and Steve.
Yeah.
Steve is a meme.
Interesting.
He is
You know what? I'm actually interested to go back and play again at some point. Is 3, because obviously it's the weakest of
the blackhead or the black sheep of the family.
Yeah, and that was cheaper too, right? Wasn't it? Like, it was a smaller experience. I thought. I don't think they released that at full price, if I remember.
But
But,
it was.
Yeah, I love what Capcom's doing here, man. I mean, it sold over 5 million units in 5 days. It was
Yeah, this
selling
game is
out
really
physically
successful.
everywhere,
Yeah.
which is unheard of right now. So that's really cool to see, and I love to see that, you know, people enjoy this genre. It's a full-fledged, healthy kind of place to be.
RE9 is 2 genres.
Yeah.
It's the survival horror and the action horror.
Yeah.
It's both. And I think it's really big that Capcom recognizes that they do both well, and that they can do both in one game. They don't necessarily have to have separate experiences for every cup of tea.
Right.
They can kind of be like multiple cups of tea in one plate, you know.
And, you know, I saw some people, I heard actually Dustin mention this on Sacred Symbols too, and I think it's a bit of a fair critique where there's a bit of member berries in this to a degree where it's like...
It's very MGS4, which
Yeah.
is an entire game of member MGS1
Yeah.
and 2 and 3 and everything that's come before.
And that's a fair chunk of this, which, you know, I'll give him...
And it seemed,
that's fair.
It seemed to have been influenced by that, but I think it's been 30 years. Resident Evil hasn't really done that. It feels very...
It's earned this shot.
Right.
And it doesn't feel over the line to me. Like, I feel
No.
like it feels respected and earned. And yeah, there's some tongue-in-cheek winks at the cameras,
like,
but I
the
think those
music
overall
when
work.
you get in the RPD...
Yeah.
The music in this game is great. I
It
listened
is.
to the soundtrack through, but the RPD stuff, the ARC stuff, particularly stands out as like really good score.
It's just great ambiance too. Like it really is. I can't give them enough credit. And I know, you know, there was rumors, and it's even confirmed at this point that this was in a bit of a like, man, don't want to say development hell, but they were going through many
process.
different iterations of what this game could possibly be.
Seems
They were
to
going.
be a common occurrence with RE games.
Did they do that with 8 and 7 too?
I don't necessarily know.
'Cause I feel like 7
RE4, the original RE4 became Devil May Cry. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What? I didn't know that.
The original prototype for I'm pretty confident it's RE4.
Huh.
Is like it's Devil May Cry.
That's wild,
And then
man.
they just were like, we're just
This isn't
gonna-
working. Yeah, this is a different game. Right.
Well, let's go
yeah.
back to the drawing board
Yeah.
a bit, and they did, and
Yeah.
they turned that into another game.
Well, and this they seem to, it was going to be like a co-op kind of more open world centered game in
I'm
Raccoon
really
City.
glad they did not do that.
And they had the wherewithal to be like, this is not what fans wanted. There was an interview with the director of the game, and he was like, we thought we were actually doing some cool things, but we realized, this is not what fans are in our genre for, and they went with what they went. And they, repurposed some of those
We're
assets
not
and
here
things like
from
that.
Umbrella Chronicles,
No.
that multiplayer game that came out on the 360 era when that was the thing. Nobody
Wasn't there another one recently?
Resistance,
Yeah.
RE-verse. Nobody's looking for that stuff.
We're looking for a single player experience that has a pretty interesting story. And I do think the story here overall was pretty
I loved it.
It was comprehensible too, even compared, like going back to 7. 7's a bit all over the
It
place.
is.
8's a
All
bit
the
all over
RE
the place.
games, they're
This
like-
feels the most kind of straight down the line. Even I felt 8 was relatively straight down the line too, as far as like what Ethan's doing.
Resident Evil loves bringing in new things and throwing characters out that you met the last game.
Yeah.
Let's go from, in 4, Resident Evil 4. Okay, we're continuing as Leon. No more T-Virus, Las Plagas.
Yeah.
Totally different virus, totally different enemies, no Umbrella. Wesker's kind of there.
Yeah.
Like a little, and then Ada's back, but it's
That's another soft
It's
reboot
majority throwing everything out and doing a new thing. And RE9 introduces some new stuff with Grace and with Spencer's specifically, and he's really not in the games a lot. He dies canonically in 5, in a
Okay.
DLC in 5. Or
Interesting.
DLC in 5.
Yeah.
5, I was right. A DLC in 5. So we never thought Spencer was redeemable, and they kind of redeem him, not in a way that I found like, wow, I'm really moved by Spencer. He killed a lot of people.
He wants to redeem himself.
Right. But I like how he got to a point in his life, and you're now finding it in this very kind of secretive manner that he created an antiviral to his viruses, and he's kind of enough. I need to I'm kind of responsible for all this bad shit that's going on. And with Grace and her not being this biological key to Elpis, but a symbol of hope
And
for
his
him.
redemption almost. Yeah.
And
He's
then, passing Grace on to Alyssa.
Yeah.
And then and you were talking about Grace's growth, the stutter I think is a really good emblematic of her not her fear, but her
confidence.
her lack thereof.
Yeah. And how
it's
it's-
not it is a fear, but I don't know. I found her stuttering every sentence in character.
I agree.
It made sense. I mean, when Leon gives her the Requiem and she kind of
Dude, it literally looks like
and then she uses it and she's like, holy shit,
When you do
she's
use the first
shooting
time,
this, huge revolver that she has no business handling.
It's probably an 80 cal or some gun that doesn't exist. Yeah, that's insane, man. And I will say, once we got to the end, there's one problem I have with all of, is there a choice ending at the end of 8? Like a choice to make?
No.
Good. Because I think 7 has a stupid one where you choose to either cure Mia or the other one, and it doesn't make a difference. And in this, I got to the end, and you can choose to either destroy or save or to release Elpis. And by that, I did kind of realize, I'm like, wait, is this like a
trick?
I'm like, I feel like I should
That's
release
kinda
it.
what it is.
But then I was like, but I promised Leon that we're gonna destroy it. So I chose to destroy it the first one, and nothing really happens. It ends rather
I'm going to
abruptly.
do the destroy ending.
Do you want me to tell you what happens, or do you want me to hold?
You can tell me.
So you just choose to destroy it. Zeno then is pissed off, and the whole thing collapses like it does at the end of the other one. And then he just shoots Leon on his way down. He's like, "Fuck you," and then that's kind of it. And Leon's like, "At least I was able to save."
And the
you."
game ends. You
The
don't
game just
fight
ends.
Victor?
No.
Wow.
And it's funny because I wrote down my notes like, "What the fuck happened to Victor?" And then I went back an hour later and did
But
the other
the game
ending.
credits you.
Yeah.
Gives you credits.
Gives you credits, and it's just you
But,
get picked up by the
clearly
FBI.
not the ending
No,
they
it's
wanted to
it's
pick.
this isn't any. And I'm like, Leon dies. I'm like, what? This feels kind of weird.
It's funny that does happen in that ending because I was like, is Leon gonna die? They're really kind of cluing him up to be like really on the outs.
Wesker shoots him with his big funny gun, or not Wesker, Zeno. But yeah, and then we get to the other ending, which is an actual, because even I finished, I'm like, there's not even like a final boss fight. That's weird. Mm-hmm. And then I went back and did the other ending, and we release Elpis, and we find out that it's actually a cure, which is cool. I love it when Zeno he injects himself and he's like, ugh, I feel normal. Yeah, like it's
my eyes. They're not cool anymore.
Yeah, and he's like, I can't move.
My
fast.
coat falls off.
Yeah, that would have actually been really funny. Yeah,
yeah, but like you hear Spencer say that Elpis is a cure.
He's like, this is my redemption. I don't think he literally says cure.
Literally says
but
it, but
he
like
very heavily implies it.
Yeah,
it's not a weapon.
That, and I like how even Gideon, like, he kind of knows he's wrong, but he's like, no, Spencer, like, this is the weapon, but it's like the opposite of that. It like the fact that you can cure the T virus is going to like create this chaos. In the biological
almost
weapon.
Cure all biological weapons, like you said. Yeah, so yeah, right,
you're right. Because it's interesting that they say like, different groups and organizations have been coming to Raccoon City to like deal in like biological weapons, and they've been buying them and making them, and that's through the connections. Umbrella is out, but the connections wanted Umbrella to go under so they could seize their assets and then reap the rewards of that research.
God, that facility is so cool, man.
What did you think about fighting Mr. X and like seeing him again? I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, but like it's in and
again.
It's out.
That's what I mean. I think that was my biggest takeaway. I'm like, oh, he's dead already, and we're gone.
And even like Plant 43 from RE1. I know you don't know that. Like that's an enemy from RE1. You fight like a plant like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it makes sense that like the facility had more of them. What did you think about the Chloe section on repeat playthroughs? It's kind of like,
the Chloe section.
When you play as the girl.
Oh, the little girl?
Not Emily, but the clone.
When you're in the orphanage?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you play as I thought that's Grace's flashback.
No. That is Chloe.
Okay.
So that's where
I like that. I actually like that a lot.
That's where they sort of mislead the player.
I see.
They make you think like, at first I was like, Emily. Like, she looks like Grace.
Right.
Like, is Emily a clone of Grace? Like, I think that's what they're trying.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
She's not.
Yeah.
Emily is a clone of not just Chloe, but like Victor and his group think they're trying to like recreate Grace, who actually is just normal.
Yeah.
So like they're trying to like essentially recreate whatever biological key that she is without knowing that she is not a biological key.
Yeah.
So that's why there's been all these trials, and Zeno shows her like, look at all these tests. What a waste. We've been doing nothing for all these years and getting absolutely fucking nowhere.
You even it's funny at the beginning when I was replaying is her mom says, Grace, you're my only hope or something like that. I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah, and like even Zeno is convinced that like Grace is the key to Elpis. You know the password. You're it. Yeah. Like, but like she's not, and like she has that realization seeing that tape. It's like, oh no, when the assistant brings Grace over, and it's like, oh no, I just adopted this girl, and nothing has been done to her.
Well, I thought it felt like to me like he cured her of something. That's what I thought. She was the person from the orphanage, and he cured her of any T-virus stuff, and that's how he created the antidote.
No, I think he gets inspired by her.
Okay,
by adopting her.
I thought he cured her. That's what I thought. Okay. Like, because she was a survivor of Raccoon City, and she was infected.
No, she's this is before Raccoon City that she is alive. Because that interview is, I think, shortly after Raccoon City.
No, because they're in Raccoon City in the flashback at the beginning.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because Alyssa Ashcroft is a survivor, and I imagine Spencer knows that she's a survivor of Raccoon City.
Okay. All right.
So I imagine that's why it takes interest in her interviewing him, because she was there.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Grace is born in 2004.
Okay.
Or 2004, 2005. So it's probably like 2010.
No, I don't. Because she's like what? How old is she supposed to be in that flashback? Like 14.
So the flashback must be like in 2005. She must be like a year, not even.
At the beginning flashback? Or are you saying
no, the flashback with the interview. Where she brings her in.
Yeah.
Now I'm confused.
Yeah.
I've been watching a stream of people play, and actually they were having a similar.
There is some.
The
I think
timeline
the
of
timeline's
things
a little
is a bit confusing,
and they try to alleviate that by the end with the whole timeline that they give you slideshow, which I appreciate.
Because they've been doing these experiments before Grace was born.
Right.
That's the thing. Like,
makes sense.
So yeah. They're like it is a little confusing once you spell it out. Like
That's Resident Evil.
But I still think the story, like, all in all, like, we're digging for it.
It works.
I wasn't confused.
No.
From the base sense, we're just talking about it, and now we're like,
there's some
wait.
minutiae that might not. Yeah, we need to just go back and think about
playing through the story. Everything kind of made sense, and I enjoyed it, and I liked the way it left off. Hunk coming back was really cool as
funny.
well,
Yeah.
like very randomly, and then
that was very Resident Evil 4. That boss fight.
like Krauser. Yeah. But yeah, man, this is one of the best games this year. It's going to be interesting to see where we get to Game Awards. This is an early game. I feel like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 had this problem last year where we all loved it, and when it came to Game Awards season, it was like very much forgotten. I mean, I know we had the Expedition sweep, but it's always these early games that sometimes do get forgotten. But I hope when we get to award season, RE9 is remembered, because I think this is Resident Evil at its best.
I agree.
And I don't know if we'll get higher than this.
I can only echo your sentiment, Gooch. I don't think I'm as high. I really loved it. I think I still like... I guess, I don't know, maybe it is my favorite. I'm trying to think back. Like, 4 is a fucking great time. And it's just a wild ride. This, I think, I've been
always lower on 4 than everybody.
Interesting, yeah.
I like it. I don't dislike it, but I don't think it's like... Again, the original 4 is like one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time. It's kind of like, it has such a legacy to it. So the remake of 4 was good, but it wasn't like this. I don't know. Like I like it less.
I think 2 might be my favorite, the remake, just because it really kind of, I think, brought me into what Resident Evil is and can be, I guess, in the modern age. Like, I don't think I really played a lot of Resident Evil before that, thinking back. But this is a fucking fantastic game. It's a gorgeous game. It's a fun game. And, I can't recommend it enough.
RE Remake, RE2 Remake, Resident Evil 5, 7, and 9 are my top 5. Not in that order.
I say.
But they're my top 5.
I like it.
Easily. Yeah, I was like, 9. Once we got to the care center, I was like, we're in. I'm in. Yeah. Like, this is very clear. And they bring back the crafting system from 8, which is something that I was
and even like you can see Grace has 7's inventory. Leon has the remakes inventory. Like this, she has 4 slots. He has the big briefcase, and it makes sense. He'd have more room. He's tactical. He's there to fight.
Right.
No, dude, listen, I can't recommend Resident Evil 9 enough. I think it's a fucking fantastic game, and I can't wait to talk more about it at the end of the year.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if you're a fan of the remakes or a fan of the whole series, you can, I think you can easily jump into this one, or even if it's your first time. I don't know. Like, I think
you can easily jump right into this. Yeah. And I think that comes back to why
But this is a Resident Evil for the fans.
Yeah,
of like a few different kinds of fans. The remake fans and the fans of the original stuff and new fans.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it kind of caters to everyone pretty evenly.
Right. That's
if you're a new person, you're going to jump into this with no issue.
Not as simply.
I love it. But anything else, Gooch, on RE9?
No, man. That about does it. I'm trying to think. We talked about Honk. I know that was a point I wanted to get to. We didn't really talk about Ark necessarily too much, just the facility being like very like institutes from Fallout 4 kind of coded, and like the clean and
surgical almost about it. Yeah. No, it's very much that bio facility kind of style that I not that I would expect. That's their own twist on it, but like it's that clean white environment, very sterile.
I'm close to the platinum, and one thing I did want to mention: the game's length. I finished in like 14 hours, and I really thought
I was 8 hours on my first try.
There would be a time, man, where we'd be so mad that this game was only 14 hours.
I think it depends. Yeah, I mean, sure. I guess.
I think in like 2010, 11, 12, 13, that this game, length,
it's still getting the length thing from everyone. Like, I still see the regular Joe Schmoes out there being like, $70 for 12 hours. Blah. Like I don't know. I think that
Really, you saying that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Because I'm like, wow, I finished the game in a week, and I beat the game again in like 4 or 5 days, and now I'm on my third playthrough. I'll have the plat probably by the end of a month having the game, if not shorter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
no, it's interesting.
It's
man.
nice to be like, I'm replaying Final Fantasy 16, and even on the replay, it's a long game.
Yeah.
It's just it's a lot to get into, and it's nice that RE9 isn't this. It's probably going to be like a maybe 30 to 40 hour in total, but only 12 on the first.
And that's all
go-through.
replays, and that's what it's supposed
Speed
to do.
runs
I don't know. I think when you start making these types of games too long, I think you start getting diminishing
Right.
returns.
I'm saying,
and I know you're not saying that they need to be longer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in general, like I don't know, if you don't like a 10 to 15 hour game and you don't think that's worth $70, this genre might not be for you. Just to be completely honest, you're not going to find a survival horror game that's 25, 30 hours. I just don't think you should probably either, if I'm honest, like on your first playthrough.
Right.
But anywho, anything else, Gooch?
That about does it, Trio.
I think that does about do it. Thank you all for watching with us live. If you've been with us on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network or our YouTube stream, we really do appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on your service of choice. We got a Facebook page, a Discord channel, all that good stuff will be linked down below. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy. We will see you next time.